There are encounters that feel strangely familiar from the very beginning. You meet someone, and instead of the usual uncertainty, there is a quiet recognition, as though you have stepped into a story already in progress. This experience is not merely about attraction or shared interests. It is deeper and more subtle. It feels as if something within you has been waiting for this presence. You cannot easily explain it to others because it does not depend on dramatic gestures or intense declarations. It reveals itself in small moments: the ease of conversation, the comfort of silence, the sense that you do not need to perform. This recognition arises from an inner image each person carries unconsciously. Over time, through experiences, memories, and longings, we form a silent template of what feels meaningful and safe. When someone appears who resonates with that inner template, the psyche responds before logic does. You feel understood without having revealed everything. You sense that your inner world is not foreign territory to them. This kind of recognition is powerful because it reduces the need for masks. Around many people, we carefully choose our words and present only acceptable fragments of ourselves. But when the connection is genuine, there is less tension in being real. You find yourself sharing thoughts that you usually keep hidden. There is no constant fear of being misjudged. Instead, there is a subtle assurance that your complexity will be received rather than rejected. This does not mean the two of you are identical. In fact, differences often exist. Yet beneath those differences lies a shared emotional language. It feels as if your inner rhythms align. Even misunderstandings are handled with a desire to understand rather than to win. The recognition creates a foundation of psychological safety. What makes this sign truly meaningful is its quiet persistence. It does not fade quickly like surface attraction. Instead, it deepens with time. The more you interact, the more layers seem to unfold naturally. There is curiosity rather than boredom. You begin to realize that this connection is not accidental in its emotional impact. It challenges you gently and invites you inward. When two people experience this mutual recognition, desire becomes less about chasing and more about returning. It feels like coming home to a part of yourself that had been waiting to be acknowledged. When two people truly desire each other, the connection reveals itself through emotional resonance. This is not loud or dramatic. It is subtle, steady, and deeply felt. You begin to notice that your emotional states respond to one another almost instinctively. When they are joyful, something in you feels lighter. When they are troubled, you sense a quiet concern without being told. This is not dependency, it is attunement. Emotional resonance forms when two inner worlds are open enough to be influenced by one another. Instead of guarding every feeling, both individuals allow themselves to be present. In conversation, there is a natural rhythm. Words flow without force, pauses do not feel awkward, and even silence carries meaning. You do not feel the need to impress or persuade. There is comfort in simply being. This shared emotional field creates a sense that you are not alone in your inner experiences. It feels as if someone is walking beside you, not only physically, but psychologically. As this resonance deepens, understanding begins to move beyond language. You start to notice subtle shifts in tone, posture, and expression. Small changes do not go unnoticed. You can sense when something weighs on them, even before they speak. Likewise, they perceive your unspoken moods. This mutual awareness builds trust because it shows that attention is genuine. You are not just hearing words, you are listening to the person behind them. Emotional resonance also allows vulnerability to emerge naturally. You find yourself sharing fears, uncertainties, and hopes without rehearsing them first. There is no urgent need to appear flawless. Instead, honesty feels safer than pretense. This openness strengthens desire because it connects you at a depth where authenticity replaces performance. Over time, this emotional harmony creates a quiet pull toward each other. When you are apart, there is a gentle sense of absence, not anxiety, but awareness. You notice that certain moments would feel more complete if they were shared. This longing is not based on possession, it arises from shared experience. Being together feels enriching rather than overwhelming. Emotional resonance transforms desire into something steady and meaningful. It is no longer about excitement alone, but about alignment. You recognize that this connection touches your inner life in a way that feels rare. And in that shared emotional space, you understand that what binds you is not surface attraction, but a deeper harmony that continues to unfold. When two people truly desire each other at a deep level, transformation quietly begins to unfold. This is not the kind of change that feels forced or imposed. It emerges naturally, almost unexpectedly, as if the connection itself awakens something that was dormant. You may notice that being around this person stirs reflection. Old patterns of thinking begin to surface. Habits you once ignored now draw your attention. Their presence acts like a mirror, not only reflecting your strengths but also revealing areas where growth is needed. This can feel unsettling at times, yet it is meaningful. True desire does not keep you confined within your comfort zone. It gently challenges you to become more aware, more honest, and more integrated. Instead of shrinking, you begin expanding. You start asking deeper questions about who you are and who you wish to become. The connection becomes a catalyst for self-discovery rather than mere distraction. This transformation also reveals hidden strengths. You may find courage where there was once hesitation. You may speak truths you previously silenced. The support and recognition from the other person create a sense of inner stability. Knowing that someone sees you fully encourages authenticity. At the same time, the relationship may bring hidden fears to the surface. Insecurity, doubt, or past disappointments can emerge. Yet this is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that the bond reaches beneath superficial layers. When both individuals remain present through these revelations, trust deepens. Growth becomes shared rather than solitary. Each person inspires the other to evolve, not through pressure, but through example. You observe their efforts toward self-improvement and feel motivated to do the same. In this way, desire becomes intertwined with development. Over time, you begin to sense that the relationship carries purpose beyond temporary emotion. It shapes your perspective, influences your decisions, and strengthens your character. You are not simply seeking comfort in one another. You are participating in each other's unfolding. The desire you feel is connected to the awareness that this bond contributes to your becoming. Even challenges hold meaning because they invite maturity. When two people experience this kind of mutual transformation, their connection is rooted in growth. It does not weaken individuality, it refines it. And through this shared evolution, you understand that the deepest form of desire is not about possession, but about walking together toward a more complete version of yourselves. When two people truly desire each other, there is often an awakening of the unconscious that neither of them fully expects. The connection feels deeper than ordinary attraction because it touches layers of the psyche that usually remain hidden. You may notice that this person evokes strong emotions that seem disproportionate to the situation. A simple glance, a brief conversation, or even a memory of them can stir something profound. This intensity does not arise from fantasy alone. It emerges because the other person activates inner images, forgotten longings, and unresolved aspects of your personality. They seem to represent something meaningful within your inner world. In their presence, parts of yourself that were quiet begin to speak. You feel more aware of your dreams, your fears, and your unexpressed desires. The bond becomes a doorway into deeper self-knowledge rather than a distraction from it. As this awakening continues, you may experience moments of projection. You might attribute extraordinary qualities to the other person, seeing them as wiser, stronger, or more complete than they truly are. This is a natural psychological process. The unconscious often casts its own hidden potentials onto another figure. The key sign of genuine mutual desire is not the projection itself, but the gradual recognition of it. As you grow closer, illusions soften and reality becomes clearer. Yet instead of disappointment, there is acceptance. You begin to see each other as human, imperfect, and still meaningful. This transition from fantasy to authenticity deepens the connection. It shows that the desire is not built solely on idealization, but on a willingness to encounter truth. Both individuals become mirrors, reflecting not only light, but shadow. Through this mutual awakening, growth becomes inevitable. You feel compelled to integrate the qualities you once projected. If you admired their confidence, you begin cultivating your own. If you were moved by their compassion, you discover it within yourself. The relationship encourages inner balance. It does not demand that one person complete the other. Instead, it invites each to reclaim forgotten aspects of the self. When two people experience this shared awakening, desire transforms into something profound. It becomes a path toward wholeness. The connection is no longer just about being together. It is about becoming more fully who you are. In this way, the awakening of the unconscious reveals that true mutual desire carries within it the potential for deep psychological integration. One of the clearest signs that two people truly desire each other is the presence of shared vulnerability without overwhelming fear. In many interactions, individuals protect themselves carefully. They reveal only polished fragments, hiding insecurities behind confidence. Yet when the desire is genuine and mutual, something shifts. The need to constantly defend or impress begins to fade. You find yourself speaking honestly about your uncertainties, your past disappointments, and even your quiet hopes. There is a subtle courage in this openness. It is not dramatic confession, but steady transparency. You sense that your words will not be used against you. Instead of bracing for judgment, you experience understanding. This emotional safety does not appear instantly, but when it does, it feels natural rather than forced. The desire between you deepens because it is rooted in truth, not performance. As vulnerability grows, so does trust. You begin to notice that your imperfections do not diminish the connection. If anything, they make it more real. Small admissions, such as acknowledging fear or doubt, strengthen the bond instead of weakening it. The other person responds not with criticism, but with empathy. In return, they share parts of themselves that are equally unguarded. This exchange creates balance. Neither person dominates the emotional space. Both are willing to be seen fully. Such openness requires inner stability. It shows that the connection is not based solely on admiration, but on acceptance. You are not striving to appear flawless. You are striving to be authentic. This authenticity becomes the foundation of lasting desire because it builds intimacy at a psychological level. Over time, this shared vulnerability fosters resilience. Conflicts, when they arise, are approached with honesty rather than avoidance. Instead of retreating into silence or defensiveness, you communicate your feelings with clarity. The desire to protect the connection outweighs the impulse to protect the ego. You begin to realize that being understood is more fulfilling than being admired from a distance. When two people can reveal their inner worlds without fear of rejection, their bond gains depth and stability. The desire they feel is not fragile, it is strengthened by openness. In this space of mutual honesty, both individuals experience a rare sense of belonging. They are not loved for a mask, but for their genuine selves, and in that shared courage to be vulnerable, true desire quietly anchors itself. Another meaningful sign of true mutual desire is the quiet restlessness that appears when you are apart. This feeling is not dramatic anxiety or constant worry. It is more subtle, like a gentle awareness that something important is temporarily missing. During your day, certain moments feel incomplete because you instinctively wish to share them. A thought arises and your first impulse is to tell them. An experience unfolds and you imagine their reaction. This natural inclination reveals that the connection has taken root within your inner life. Their presence is no longer limited to physical proximity. It exists in memory, imagination, and anticipation. The desire you feel is not about control or dependency. It is about meaningful inclusion. They have become part of the way you experience the world. This restlessness also reveals emotional investment. When you truly desire someone, separation does not erase them from your awareness. Instead, it sharpens your sense of their value. You notice how their voice, perspective, or humor contributes to your emotional balance, yet this longing remains steady rather than overwhelming. You are still capable of functioning independently. You continue your responsibilities and maintain your individuality. The difference is that a quiet pull persists beneath the surface. It is the recognition that life feels richer when shared. In healthy mutual desire, both individuals experience this gentle pull. Each feels the absence of the other without resentment or fear. This shared awareness strengthens the bond because it confirms that the connection matters to both sides. Over time, this pattern of longing and reunion creates rhythm. Being together feels warm and grounding. Being apart invites reflection and appreciation. The space does not weaken the bond, it clarifies it. You begin to understand that the desire is not fueled by urgency, but by significance. Their presence enhances your sense of meaning, and their absence highlights it. This dynamic fosters maturity within the relationship. You are not clinging, nor are you indifferent. You are consciously choosing one another again and again. When two people feel this steady restlessness in separation and calm fulfillment in reunion, it becomes clear that their desire runs deeper than momentary attraction. It reflects a connection woven into their emotional and psychological landscape, quietly affirming that they belong in each other's unfolding story. There are connections that feel as though they carry a deeper meaning, as if they were arranged by forces beyond ordinary planning. When two people truly desire each other, they may experience a subtle sense of destiny surrounding their meeting. This does not imply fantasy or blind belief. Rather, it reflects the psychological impact of meaningful coincidence. You may notice how your paths crossed at an unexpected yet timely moment. Perhaps you met during a period of personal change, uncertainty, or growth. The timing feels significant. Conversations seem to unfold with unusual depth from the beginning. It is as though both of you were prepared internally for this encounter. This sense of meaningful timing strengthens desire because it suggests that the connection is not random in its emotional weight. It feels aligned with your inner journey. As this feeling deepens, you begin to interpret shared experiences as symbolic rather than accidental. Similar values, parallel life lessons, or complementary strengths appear with surprising clarity. You recognize patterns that make the relationship feel coherent and purposeful. This does not mean everything is effortless. Challenges still arise. However, even difficulties seem to carry lessons rather than simple obstacles. There is a quiet belief that this bond has something to teach you. When both individuals sense this, the connection gains depth. It is no longer about convenience or temporary satisfaction. It becomes part of a larger narrative of personal development. The desire you feel is strengthened by the awareness that this person plays a meaningful role in your unfolding story. Over time, this shared sense of destiny encourages commitment and reflection. You approach the relationship with intention rather than carelessness. You listen more attentively, respond more thoughtfully, and invest more sincerely. The feeling that your meeting holds significance fosters gratitude. You are less likely to take each other for granted because the connection feels rare. Mutual desire rooted in meaningful coincidence is steady and grounded. It does not depend on constant excitement. Instead, it rests on the recognition that your lives intersected in a way that feels aligned with who you are becoming. In this awareness, desire transforms into appreciation. You see the relationship not only as something you want, but as something that carries purpose, guiding both of you toward greater understanding and inner growth. When two people truly desire each other, growth and transformation do not occur on only one side. The development is mutual. Each person becomes both student and teacher in subtle ways. You begin to notice that your perspectives shift through interaction. Ideas you once held rigidly start to soften. New interests emerge. There is encouragement to explore talents or ambitions that may have remained dormant. This kind of influence is not controlling or possessive. It is inspiring. The other person's presence challenges you to expand without demanding that you abandon your identity. You feel supported in becoming more fully yourself. At the same time, you witness their evolution as well. Their courage strengthens in response to your belief in them. Their self-awareness deepens through honest dialogue. In this shared environment, desire becomes connected to progress rather than stagnation. Mutual growth also reveals itself in how you handle difficulties together. Instead of allowing misunderstandings to create distance, both of you show willingness to reflect and adjust. You examine your reactions, question your assumptions, and learn from mistakes. This requires humility. True desire does not insist on being right at all costs. It values understanding over pride. As you navigate challenges, resilience forms. You realize that the connection is capable of adapting. This adaptability strengthens emotional security. You feel confident that both of you are committed not only to comfort, but to improvement. The relationship becomes a space where development is welcomed rather than feared. In such an environment, each individual feels empowered rather than restricted. Over time, the evidence of transformation becomes clear. You look back and recognize how much you have matured since the connection began. Perhaps you communicate more openly, set healthier boundaries, or pursue goals with renewed determination. These changes are not coincidences. They are responses to a bond that encourages awareness and responsibility. When desire leads to growth on both sides, it signals depth. It shows that the connection is not based solely on emotion, but on shared evolution. You are not merely seeking each other's presence, you are participating in each other's becoming. And in that shared journey of continuous transformation, desire reveals its highest form, guiding both of you toward greater wholeness and inner strength. When two people truly desire each other, there is often a subtle psychological mirroring that takes place. You begin to notice familiar qualities reflected back to you through the other person. Sometimes it appears in shared values or similar emotional reactions. At other times, it emerges through complementary differences that complete a larger pattern. This mirroring is not imitation, it is resonance. You recognize aspects of yourself in them, and through that recognition, you feel understood. Their strengths may reflect qualities you are developing. Their struggles may echo your own inner conflicts. This reflection creates a powerful sense of intimacy because it reduces the feeling of isolation. You no longer feel alone in your experiences. Instead, you see your inner world acknowledged in another human being. That recognition deepens desire because it touches identity itself. As this mirroring unfolds, self-awareness increases. The other person becomes a living reflection that reveals both light and shadow. You may admire traits in them that you wish to strengthen within yourself. At the same time, their reactions might highlight behaviors you need to reconsider. This dynamic requires maturity. Instead of reacting defensively, you begin to observe. You ask yourself why certain interactions affect you so strongly. In doing so, you grow. The connection becomes a space of insight rather than blame. True mutual desire does not avoid reflection, it embraces it. Both individuals are willing to look inward when tensions arise. This shared willingness transforms conflict into opportunity. Each moment of misunderstanding carries the potential for deeper clarity. Over time, this psychological mirroring strengthens authenticity. Because you feel seen clearly, there is less motivation to hide behind roles or expectations. You understand that your complexity is visible, yet accepted. The other person's presence encourages honesty rather than performance. This creates stability within the bond. Desire becomes grounded in reality rather than illusion. You appreciate each other not as fantasies but as evolving individuals. The mirror does not distort, it clarifies. Through this shared reflection, you begin to integrate parts of yourself that were once fragmented. When two people can mirror each other without fear, their connection becomes a catalyst for self-knowledge. In that ongoing exchange of reflection and recognition, desire deepens into something steady, conscious, and profoundly human. One of the most telling signs that two people truly desire each other is the ability to experience each other's presence as a source of inspiration rather than mere comfort. When desire runs deep, being with the other person awakens curiosity, reflection, and a subtle motivation to engage with life more fully. You notice that their perspectives, habits, or insights encourage you to think differently, to approach challenges in new ways, or to reconsider assumptions you previously held. This influence is not coercive or manipulative. It is naturally felt because the other person embodies qualities that resonate with your inner potential. Their presence reminds you of parts of yourself that you may have neglected or underappreciated. Desire at this level is connected to growth, and growth inspires continued attention and care for the relationship. This influence is reciprocal. Each person inspires the other, and the effect is cumulative rather than one-sided. You begin to see evidence of change in your own behavior, not because you are being asked to change, but because you are stimulated to explore your capacities. Similarly, the other person adapts in response to your openness and encouragement. There is a sense of co-creation where both lives evolve in tandem. This dynamic strengthens desire because it moves beyond superficial attraction and engages the mind and spirit. You feel a subtle joy in witnessing the other's development, just as you experience satisfaction in your own. Together, the connection fosters an ongoing process of refinement, discovery, and self-expression. Over time, this shared inspiration becomes part of the relationship's identity. Being together is no longer only about comfort or presence. It is about meaningful engagement. Each interaction carries potential for insight and reflection. Conversations become richer, and even small exchanges may carry significance. You begin to recognize that this mutual stimulation is rare and valuable. Desire grows steadier because it is connected to shared evolution rather than fleeting emotions. Both individuals experience a sense of purpose in the connection. This shared journey reinforces the understanding that true desire is not simply about closeness or attraction. It is about being catalysts for each other's inner life, awakening curiosity, courage, and authenticity. In this way, desire becomes inseparable from growth, and the relationship transforms into a space where both individuals flourish, not by coincidence, but through deliberate attention, mutual presence, and the shared commitment to seeing and nurturing each other fully. Another profound sign that two people truly desire each other is the presence of deep, intuitive understanding that transcends words. This is not the casual empathy we often experience in daily life, but a connection in which each person seems to grasp the other's thoughts, emotions, and intentions almost instinctively. You may find that a look, a gesture, or a subtle tone communicates volumes without explanation. It is as if an unspoken language exists between you, formed by shared perception and attention. This intuitive resonance fosters a sense of security and closeness because it reduces misunderstandings. You feel known at a level that surpasses surface communication, and that knowing generates a quiet, steady desire. It is not impulsive or fleeting, it is sustained by the recognition of being truly seen. As this understanding grows, it encourages patience and attentiveness. You begin to notice subtle patterns in the other person's behavior, moods, and reactions. Instead of reacting immediately or judgmentally, you take a moment to consider their perspective. Similarly, they respond with similar care and awareness. This mutual recognition reinforces the bond because it demonstrates investment in each other's inner world. Desire, in this sense, is intertwined with respect for individuality and acknowledgement of complexity.